You good, you good. How was y'all holidays, everybody? Everybody was good for the holidays. Everybody had a good Christmas, good New Year's.
Yeah, everything pretty good.
Yeah, I don't get out like that no more. How you doing, Mr. Malcolm? Glad you could join us.
Hey, what's going on?
So if you click your personal information, just find out where your personal information is. I'm gonna tell you guys how to run this play. If you run this play, you can do it this way every single time. You can get inquiries off. I'm gonna tell you guys this number. I'm gonna put it in the chat. It's gonna be 714-830-7000. Everybody got that number? Once you call that number, this is how you're going to run the play. You're going to call that number, file a dispute, fraud, whatever the prompts are. You're going to know what prompt is yours, and you're going to dispute your address. The first day, you're going to dispute your address, and all you want to do is just change one little thing that's different about your address. So if your address is 2555 East Plymouth Road, you're going to want to change it to 2555 West Plymouth Road, or North Plymouth Road, or East Plymouth Street. You just want to do one thing to make the address just a little bit different. Tell them that you need to update your personal information, because they're going to ask that on the call. When you call in to report the fraudulent increase or whatever, you're going to do that first. And you just want to change it just a little bit. So look, you're going to call, you're going to change one little thing, right? Change one little adjustment on your address. That's the first day. If they ask for proof, if they say, hey, I need proof of residence or something like that, hang up, call back, get another rep. Get another rep until they actually change that proof of residence just by one little bit. The next day, after that happens, make sure that you see it updated. Once you see it updated to the address that you changed it to, that's when you can call them back and you can start disputing inquiries. So that being said, those when usually when you have hard inquiries, right? When you have the increase, they get attached to your address. So like if you're going to buy a car, or if you're going to apply for a credit card or whatever it may be, it attaches to your address. That's how they stick you. So now that you have updated it to the incorrect address, right? You're going to call them back and dispute all the inquiries, because all those inquiries are no longer attached to your address because you changed your address. So once you dispute all the inquiries, it takes 24 to 72 hours. After that happens, you got to monitor. You got to look at these things. You got to watch your report and stay up to speed with it. If they take 2 or 3 days to update the address, call them again. Hey, I disputed my address. This is the wrong address on my information. I need it updated. Boom. Once you dispute those inquiries and those inquiries fall off after 24 to 48 hours or whatever it may be, it's usually 24 to 72 hours. Then you call them back another day after all that's done and update it to the correct address. So now your correct address is on your credit profile. That's the game. So step 1, change the address to the fake address. Just by a little bit, not a lot, where it looks like it was one of their mistakes at the bureau. Next step, call and get all the inquiries removed. When you remove the inquiries, you need to tell them what it is. So you got to say the name and the date of the inquiry. They'll usually ask you this on the phone, but you'll go to your hard inquiries and you tell them, I have an inquiry on July of 2023. That wasn't me. That's fraudulent. That wasn't me. That's fraudulent. You're claiming everything is fraudulent. These are not my inquiries. I did not do them. Fraudulent. I don't know who has my information. You can wait a week later, call, and then say, hey, that's the wrong address. And then you update it to your real address. That way, when you go for funding, right, your address is right on your credit profile. Personal information is all up to date, and you have no inquiries. That way, whenever you apply for funding, right, they don't hit you with the too many recent inquiries to apply for credit, right? Everybody gets that error because we apply, and then they never fall off for 2 to 3 years. So we're stuck in this little bubble of I can't get any money and I can't do anything with my credit. So that's how you beat that. And then once that's also, here comes another gem. That's also how you run the funding play. So when we do it for you guys as clients, right, as students, we do this for you, right? You guys are already in the course. You've already invested in yourself. So therefore, you're going to get this service done for you. But this is just for some people who are proactive. I'm not going to say they're impatient. They're just proactive, man. I'm trying to be great. I need this to happen. You know what I mean? Maybe we're handling collections and late payments and you helping out however you want. You don't have to, but I'm saying this is the game. And that's how you go get funding. So we call, we get it off, inquiries are gone, everything is white, personal information. If you're already in the personal information, go ahead and update it. Make sure you got one name, make sure you got one address, make sure you got your actual employer, make sure you know what I mean? These are things that are going to be on there. You're going to see a gang of different names. That same person who changes the address does all that. So if you're on the call and you got through, you might as well go ahead and handle it. And then that's how we run the funding, right? So we apply for credit. We'll hit Chase, right? We'll hit Affinity. We'll hit Wells Fargo. We'll hit X1. And at this point, you're like, dang, you already know it's coming. You done hit 10K over here, 20K over here, 5K here, 5K here. You done ran up a quick 40 bands, right? And then you got that error is going to come up. Too many recent inquiries, too many inquiries for credit. The credit bureaus look at it as like you look thirsty. You look thirsty for credit. You just applying. But it doesn't even matter because the next day, after you start getting that error, the next day you run it again. Boom. Come in, fraudulent. Hey man, I got fraudulent inquiries on my credit. I don't know who did it. They yank them off. You don't even got to do the address thing no more. They're going to yank those off like they don't need to. It doesn't, it no longer is yours because they haven't funded you yet. They haven't even, you're just approved. It hasn't hit your credit report. So you only got to do that like the address and inquiry wipe the initial time. After that, you just call them, apply for 4 or 5 credit cards, get approved, get denied, whatever it may be. You start getting the inquiry error, boom, call the bureau. You might have 10 inquiries at that point. Get all 10 of them off. Once they clear, run the play again. Hit up 10 more experienced banks. Get the error, call them, get them off, run the play again. So that's how you credit stack, and that's how you run a bag up when it comes to getting inquiries off. I mean, that's the game, that's the gem on how we run funding, what we do. This credit stuff is tedious, right? Like it's a lot of work. I only have so many staff members that can handle so much, but you guys are 100% going to have it done for you. But if you ever want to run the play, you know what I mean? You got the knowledge now to run the play, and it's super simple. Step 1, I'm going to start calling on you guys, right? I'm going to make sure that you guys caught it, right? I'm going to make sure that you caught it. So step 1, I'm going to go left to right, how it pops up. Miss Chelsea, when you call the number, right? Everybody's got the number. When you call the number, what's the first step? After you get through the prompts and you're disputing some fraudulent information on your credit, what's your first step that you have to do?
You dispute your address and change one little thing about your address.
Yep, that's correct. All right, so that's changing the address. Change one little thing to make it not right, to make it feel like boom. Mr. Steven, you next. What's the next step after you get that address changed? One little thing, you wait a couple days until it hits, and then what's your next step?
Get the inquiries wiped off.
Yes, sir. Get the inquiries wiped off. Mr. Oscar.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So you read line for line, right? Okay, yeah, I see them right here. I should say something like these inquiries are fraudulent and wasn't me. That's correct. So he wrote in the chat that he should say something like these inquiries are fraudulent and they weren't him, which is absolutely correct. You're going to say, hey, I got some fraudulent inquiries on my report. I need to get these removed. And then you're going to read them line for line to get them off there. What's the wait time, Mr. Oscar, on how long it takes for them to fall off after you call and you get them removed? What's the wait time?
Right when they fall off, you call back, no?
Yeah, but it's 24 to 72 hours. So in 24 to 72 hours after you make that call, they're gonna fall off. Yeah, and then you call them back. When you call them back, what are you guys doing? Y'all can just blab it out. After you call them back,
Change back to your correct address.
that's correct. They're gonna ask you, do you want to put it's some type of alert, like, right? It's pretty much a fraud. Do you want to put a fraud alert type freeze on your credit? They ask you, they have to, it's in the script, right? Tell them no every time. You don't want to put no fraud thing. They're going to say, okay, remember to file a police report and turn the report into us. Be like, yeah, I'm doing that. I'm planning on doing that next. Just give them the game. Tell them, yeah, I plan on filing a report because this is wrong, whatever. And say no to that, putting that fraud alert. Eventually, when running the funding play, you're only going to be able to call through so much. I think they put like it's like a little code or a little block on the number. Just dial from another number and don't put your information in. So when I started, we probably ran up, a couple $100K in funding before they probably caught on to like, he's just calling, getting the inquiry. I figured that they caught on, right? Because I'm like, damn, I can't get through to remove the inquiries. So what I did is I would just go in with like my wife's information. I'd type her social in, boom, boom, boom. I'd start out the conversation with that representative, like as my wife's, but when they flip me, because they're going to transfer you to the people who do the disputes and remove, then I would just give my information. I bet because I had to get in, like I had to get through to the call. So once your number gets tagged, it's like they know what you're doing, right? You're just going to verify with a whole call from another phone, a spouse, family member, brother, sister, doesn't matter. Call from another phone, use another person. So they can be, I used my wife's, right? I did it on mine. Then I used my wife's to get in. I got in the information. Yeah, I need to report some fraudulent information on my profile. Okay, cool. They took the information and then they transferred me. Once they transferred me, then I ran the real play. I gave them my information, because that person doesn't know. These people are the people who flip you to the people who do the dispute. These people don't ask those questions. Well, they'll ask those questions, but they don't have nothing to do with like you coming through to experience call like service. You know what I mean? So when you get, and then when you get on that side, you can give them but you're gonna run up a whole lot of money before you do that. That's gonna be later. They don't do it till like, I was calling like every 3 days. So like day 25, they was like, hey, bro, you're not getting in no more, you know? So that's how they'll stop it. And then, but there's ways to get through, you know what I mean? But yeah, man, in a nutshell, that's how you run the funding play. That's how you get inquiries off super fast. And like I say, if you just get a rep, if you get a rep that just really doesn't, if you get a rep that always wants they want you to like, oh, I need to see a proof of residence or whatever, just hang up, call back, get another rep. Once you get it, you're gonna get a rep who's gonna be like, okay, what is the information? They're just gonna transfer you so you can start disputing. But that is the steps. Step 1, call, flip the address to one thing a little off. Step 2, wait for that to clear. Once it clears to the incorrect address, call back, get the inquiries removed. Fraudulent inquiries on my profile. I need these removed. They weren't me. Here it is. Here's the date. Here it is. Here's the date. Here it is. Here's the date. Give that up to 72 hours to wipe off. Then a couple days later, call them back. This is step 3 and update it to your real address. And then from there, your inquiries are wiped. You don't have to wait the 2 years, right? Your inquiries are wiped. All your information is correct and you're ready to run funding. I'm checking the chat now.
Nah, I don't have any, but I mean, I'm for sure gonna use the steps though.
Oh yeah, for sure. I appreciate it. All right. So if there ain't no more, all right, y'all have a good night. Miss Chelsea, Mr. Steven, Mr. Oscar, Malcolm, Kevin, y'all have a good night, bro. And many blessings to the new year for all you guys. And I'll holler at y'all on the Discord. If y'all need something, let me know.
Thank you. Likewise.
All right, brothers.